words of introduction maybe for this session, and I'll just show a few facts about brain disorders, a bit gloomy, but this is the situation at the moment. If we just look at the numbers of people who suffer from different brain disorders, schizophrenia, we have 51 million people worldwide. Stroke, 2 million European and American are going to be affected in the coming year. Depression, we have 30 million people worldwide that suffer, and I'm not talking about the burden, about the money. Parkinson, we have 5 million, and I think the main epidemics might be Alzheimer. We have, at the moment, we have 44 million people are affected, and by 2050, we have 135 million people worldwide, and 2050 is only 35 years from now, and we are going to be there, most of us, right at the age to get Alzheimer's. So we better work hard and fast to try to change it. We hope that most of us won't get it. So, and I think that the question I would like to raise is, you know, despite billions of dollars invested in the last 20 years, there is, I can say, no cure for any of these major brain disorders. There are some therapeutics, but no cure. And maybe the question is why. And some guesses from the audience?
There's so many reasons. I mean, it's actually not actually point to one reason to answer that. I do believe that one of the main reasons, at least, which you can definitely see in clinical trials today, that I think that we are actually starting to treat these diseases very, very late in the process, where the damage is actually pouring away.
Okay, so.
From an industry point of view, I can tell you that a clinical trial, that if you actually start treating patients very early in the process, then you're going to need 10 or 15 years clinical trial, which is almost unaffordable.
Okay, so one
plenty of reasons why
there are a lot of reasons. So one of the reasons that was brought here that we start to treat too late. Other suggestions from different directions? Or maybe I'll just give you my view, and I think it's quite, at least in the academy, it's well accepted, I think also in the industry. I think we don't understand at the moment what these diseases are. And when we don't understand the problem, it's hard to solve it. We are trying from different directions, but it's, I think, a situation in many of the diseases that we are really lacking in-depth mechanism understanding, not for all the diseases, but some of them. So this is one of the things that I wanted to bring. And the question for this panel is how to increase the chances to develop treatment and prevention for brain disorders. Could be from the clinical, from the industry, or from the academy. And we will start with the first speaker, Michal Rosen-Zvi, from IBM, who will speak about new era in cognitive IBM View. Leave the microphone.
Yeah, sure. Forgot about it. Hi. I'm going to be very quick because I understood from Professor Ashery that we have less than 10 minutes each. So I'm going to give you, in a nutshell, what is IBM vision with respect to cognitive era. And if you look at the history of computers and just pick the main developments that have been performed in this area, you can see that we started with tabulating systems. And my grandfather told me that when he was selling stuff in Zurich, and he already passed away, but when he passed away, he was 100 years old. So when he was 1914, a young man doing some sales, he was suffering from not able to follow up these sales, to monitor them, because there was no way. You just have to write down everything, and then someone else needs to go through that. And when I told him that I moved into IBM, he was so excited. Wow, you did this change. You created these international business machines. You created these machines that can save us so much time. And he was like, wow, that's wonderful. You got to the right place. But that was 1900. And then when in 1950, there started to be the programmable system era, where people had computers, and it started with only big companies having computers. And I know that we have a mixed audience here, so I apologize for being so, like in the soccer game, so about my team. But IBM was the first to hold here a monitor of the population, where the population in 1950 was monitored by the government. The IBM machine was used to make that happen. And that's the Israeli aspect into the IBM moving into creating machines that can be programmed. And I think that, I don't know how many of you are familiar with the Jeopardy game that IBM won in 2011. Can you raise your hand if you have heard about the Jeopardy game? Well, that's not that much, so I will mention that very, very, very shortly. There is a trivia game in the US that has been there for, I think, 15 years or more in a row, where people can play this trivia and answer questions, and the aim is to reach $1 million by answering most of the questions right and being ahead of your competitors. And there is structure into this game, so I'm not going to talk about the structure of the game. And I might be right with the 15 years. It's for many years, so I don't know the exact number of years. And in this game, there were two big shots who won many times, and IBM decided to compete with them with a machine. And the challenge is with the fact that the question is very cryptic. It's not that obvious what you ask about. So again, apologies for talking about Israel. It's easier to follow from my perspective. One of the questions might be, who is the Israeli general who is known for his part of body? And actually, it doesn't say who is this general, but a general that is known for his body part. Somebody want to make a guess? Exactly. So for a machine, you need to answer for this game, you need to answer the question is who the person is, and the person is Moshe Dayan. Who is Moshe Dayan? And these are the easy questions. All the more complicated questions, I can't really remember. They were very complicated. So IBM machine was live in a competition with these two people and won them, and won $1 million. And that was a way to show and to exemplify IBM ability to analyze free text. And what we believe is that in the new world, and in this world, as Professor Ashery said, there are some things that are a bit gloomy about our era and about the numbers of Alzheimer and so on. And there are some things that are very, very optimistic with respect to the way we are going to continue work, because life will be much easier. We will be able to talk to our machines. The machine can consult us on many things. And that's the new cognitive area, the idea that we can talk to machines and the machine understands free text and answer us. And what you see here are the way that it was done within IBM, the move from a project, a research project, into a demonstration at the Jeopardy Grand Challenge, into internal startup division. So IBM made a very big change. The head of research told us that's a major change that he hasn't seen in his 20 life at IBM. And that's we created a new group. The previous such change happened, I think it was 20 years ago, when the IBM leaders decided to add service into our business, and now half of the employees, we have close to 500,000 employees, 400,000 something. Half of them are in the service organization. So similar to this huge change that happened 20 years ago, we see this year, and this happened in January 2014, a new group was formed at IBM with our leaders and our chairman, Ginny Rometty, talking about internal investment of $1 billion. So that's about changes within IBM. And the question is how it relates to what we discussed today. I think it's obvious there are different aspects into it. One of that, of course, has to do with aiding people who suffer from all kinds of disabilities, because if the machine can interact easily, you now have, I guess, that part of the challenge of treating people with mental disease is that you need to be next to them all the time. And without yet understanding all the mechanisms, which is a big challenge by itself, many times the industry comes and says, let's see how we can interact with people and reduce the load of interaction with people. And the idea that if you have a computer that understands language, you can start thinking about these directions. And I'd like to show you something that I'm very proud of, because that's our head of research, John Kelly, given a talk a couple of months ago at the Milken Institute, where he met with universities, and he showed one of the next things that we do at IBM out of research, out of my team, that we lead and in collaboration with many other research teams in across the world. We have 12 research organizations, and I think I need your help because I'm not familiar with this.
Some changes.
So what you're going to see is a system that we have created, and that's a first demo of the system that shows how a machine. Have a look.
We've never shown before outside of our research labs, and this will give you a hint and a sense for where Watson is going in the future. The real question is, can a computer not just answer complex questions with simple answers, and not just take massive amounts of genomic data and come up with better treatments for cancer, but can a computer take raw information and digest and reason on that information and understand the context? So one of the prototype systems that we're building is something we call the debater. We give it freewheeling understanding of large bodies of information like Wikipedia, and we ask the computer, with no human intervention, construct arguments pro and con on any subject we throw at it. And the result of that is what I'd like to show in the demonstration now. If we could roll the video, please.
Hello, and welcome to the IBM Debating Technologies demonstration. Today we shall focus on detecting relevant claims. To proceed, please select the topic, and I will share with you my top predictions for pro claims and con claims.
So as I said, we could throw any subject at it. I've chosen some here, and let's just pick the first one. So it will now look for all the literature and try to understand, as a computer, what's a pro and what's a con for violent video games. Let's roll the first one.
Scanned approximately 4 million Wikipedia articles, returning 10 most relevant articles. Scanned all 3,000 sentences and top 10 articles. Detected sentences which contain candidate claims. Identified borders of candidate claims. Assessed pro and con polarity of candidate claims. Constructed demo speech with top claim predictions. Ready to deliver. You have selected the topic. The sale of violent video games to minors should be banned. I would like to raise the following points in support of the topic. Exposure to violent video games results in increased physiological arousal, aggression-related thoughts and feelings, as well as decreased prosocial behavior. In addition, these violent games or lyrics actually cause adolescents to commit acts of real-life aggression. Finally, violent video games can increase children's aggression. On the other hand, I would like to note the following claims that oppose the topic. Violence in video games is not causally linked with aggressive tendencies. In addition, most children who play violent games do not have problems. Finally, video game play is part of an adolescent boy's normal social setting. Would you like to discuss another topic?
So as
Okay.
you can see,
I think it's obvious what can we do with such a system. Many things. One of them can be help our young population in reasoning and understanding pros and cons and reasoning with respect to all kinds of challenges. And there are many other things. I'd like to finish very soon because, as we said, there's not that much time. And I just want to highlight some ways that we collaborate with universities and IBM Research and organizations with 3,000 people spread over 12 research centers, where IBM Israel, again coming back to Israel, was established in 1972 and is the largest research organization outside of US in IBM. And we have all kinds of programs. We set up a collaboration with Segol School with the help and support and leadership of Professor Ashery, where we have students trained at our labs for 3 months. There are other ways that we collaborate with university. For instance, we have Marie Curie grant where we work under the EU on personalized healthcare, and students are exchanged between different programs. In addition, we have this We Care, which is, again, a European project where we try to find ways to get better care at low cost at Europe. That's, again, a European-funded project. And in that as part of that program, we interact and work with the leaders from the university on identifying ways to make that happen. And in the particular context of the cognitive era, what you see here is a part of a press release where IBM agreed with 7 leader universities at the US, and you have the names here, like Carnegie Mellon and New York University and many others, and University of California, Berkeley, and others, where we created a course about what cognitive is by IBM, and we help the professors there delivering this course. Thank you very much. Any questions?
We have time for 1 or 2 short questions before we continue.
That computer model is fascinating. Is it only restricted to Wikipedia, or could you have them divulge information from, say, scientific databases?
That's a very good question.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, the question was about the IBM debating technology. Is it only limited to Wikipedia? And that's a very great question, and it's not limited to Wikipedia. The first demo is out of Wikipedia. We have collaboration here between information retrieval experts, natural language experts, machine learning experts to make that happen. And the first corpus we picked was Wikipedia, but we now work on other corpuses. Thank you very much.
Thank you.